Hello everybody, and welcome to Neon White, an FPS game disguised as a puzzle game disguised as a visual novel. Your objective is simple: reach the end of the level as fast as you can. The less simple part is doing so while also satisfying your demon slaying quota. Miss even one and the exit stays locked. Unfortunately, your job won't be easy. The competition for a permanent stay in paradise is fierce. Wield soul cards, slip and slides, and your entire mousepad to cleanse heaven at maximum efficiency and rise through the rankings. Will you acknowledge your sins and manifest your own happily ever after, or will you satisfy your burning desire for revenge and be returned to nothingness? Sharpen your skills, steal your soul, and become a paragon of speed as you hunt down demons and answers alike. You play as White, also known as Neon White. You're a walking Hot Topic amnesiac who's just been fished out of purgatory. You and your 3 belts stand as one amongst a collection of fellow sinners, each one wearing a mask different from the last. Can you tell who's the main character? It's not really a secret. Allow me to introduce Neon Yellow, Neon Purple, and Neon Red, or as I call them, the Bro Dude, the Psychopath, and the Shameless Bait character. You've all been summoned by the Believers to perform chemo on the demonic cancer that's infested their New Age paradise. A few subtle hints are dropped about your origins as the Believers explain exactly why it's you they've chosen to get the job done. Not a bad hook by any means. However, as soon as the game hands control to you, it literally spoils you in the UI text. What the hell is this? Come on, I was even going to give you brownie points for that one. I'm not exaggerating when I say it took me 5 minutes to see it during the first level. Anyways, if you're an assassin, why not just kill the Believers? If demons can die, surely they can too. Well, you might be able to get a few. The only tiny issue is that they've already strapped an explosive to your face. Your mask is actually a bomb and will immolate you with holy flame at the Believers as well. I don't know about you, but I'm taking the low road on this one. I personally would prefer not to be flame grilled over medium heat for 10 to 12 minutes. As a whole, the story is fairly interesting. Unfortunately, nearly all of its good qualities are eclipsed by the front-loaded turbo cringe writing that puts Chuck Tingle books to shame. I honestly bet most people will end up tuning it out off the rip. Also, its proclivity for having goofy-ass fanfiction.net writing gave me some fucking insane whiplash when the story swerved a hard right and got dark. That tonal dissonance doesn't go away, since dregs of Tumblr speak keep appearing later in the story as well. In the grand scheme of things, it's whatever. It might be yours, but this brand of humor just ain't for me. It isn't this game's strong point anyways. The best parts happen when the speaking stops and the tweaking starts. From a basic perspective, your objective within each level is to reach the exit as quickly as you can while eliminating all demons within the stage. If you miss one, you will not be allowed to finish the level and need to take the walk of shame back to the start. Since the Believers can't really send you out to fight a war unarmed, you are given a sword, which serves as the default weapon that you spawn with on every reset. It's quite good for destroying or eliminating anything with a single health point. Never try to use it on enemies unless you have no other choice. I could probably do more damage with an Angry Stare. There's a parry mechanic built into the sword that reverses projectiles and gives you a speed boost, but it's not really something you're going to end up using unless you're really pushing that world record. Melee weapons are cool and all, but when your opponents start outranging you, a problem reveals itself. A solution to the aforementioned dilemma is discovered just kinda laying around. These lost and found demon slaying munitions are known as soul cards. These are the main gameplay mechanic that you will interact with the most and that the rest of the game is built around. Each one serves 2 functions, primarily a gun and secondarily a movement ability. Each soul card is colored differently, allowing you to identify them at a glance. Cards can be stacked up to 3 times, though only 2 different colors can be held at once. If you pick up a third that's different from the ones you're already carrying, that new color will write itself over the cards in your back pocket. It may seem incredibly annoying at first, but I think it's a good design choice since it makes me actually use the cards instead of playing like I'm losing a game of Uno. I'm the guy that keeps the valuable stuff in my stash and ends up beating the game without using any of the powerful stuff because I tell myself it'll be useful down the line. I'm trying to recover from my condition, but the doctors tell me it's not looking good. These soul cards are introduced in the following order: a machine gun and sticky grenade, a pistol and double jump, a rifle and horizontal dash, a submachine gun and a ground pound, a shotgun and aimable air dash, and finally, a rocket launcher and a grappling hook. Don't ask me how these have any relation to each other because I don't have an answer for you. My theory is currently resting on a blindfolded dartboard. Each soul card gives you ammo for that specific type, which is stacked each time you pick up another copy. Be careful, because when that final card is destroyed, all of that extra ammo is gone forever. On the other hand, the card also disintegrates once all the ammo is used. You don't want that either, because then the movement ability will be wasted. Activated by using the alt fire, a single copy of the card is destroyed, activating its movement ability, which kills all demons in your path and breaks through red barricades. There is also a card that shows up near the end of the game called the Book of Life, a special permanent card that doesn't have a gun because because it only needs one function, an instantaneous destructive teleport tied to its discard. It's literally an on-demand telefrag. That's fucking sick. The life cards only serve as an objective later on in the game, meaning in their levels you no longer have to kill every demon. You just get that card to the book at all costs. Speaking of breaking things, if you're afflicted with the funny disorder and end up using every charge in your katana, it breaks in half like a Dollar Tree razor. Without a weapon, you'll have to resort to using your fists. I wish I could make a fist. These things aren't lucky, guys, they're just useless. If you, by some act of God, use all the charges on your paper mache hands, you die. I'm honestly impressed White was able to make it this far outside his quarantine bubble. Like, this guy's probably fighting for his life walking up a flight of stairs. The soul cards look pretty and all, but what's the point in having a weapon if you're not going to use it on something? Lucky for you, heaven is absolutely infested with demons. Not the hot kind, unfortunately. Your rank and file opponents include the garden variety gremlins, the bouncy boys, the bubble men, and the severed heads. There are also a slew of demons that drop a soul card when they die. As mentioned earlier, movement abilities, with the exception of the double jump, insta-kill, so it's optimal to use them on card demons. This allows you to pick up the newly dropped card and repeat the cycle. This method is an integral part of combat and also allows the player to cover a ludicrous amount of distance in a very short amount of time. Once you get the hang of it, it's very satisfying to pull off, kind of like parallel parking. Not that I can drive or anything. There are also demons that LARP as boost paths, trip mines, and bubble shields. Each non-LARPing demon shoots a variety of projectiles, most of which only deal 1 damage to you. Not a huge issue since you have 3 health. Don't kill everything with reckless abandon though. Mimics are demons that unleash a generous ring of projectiles upon death. These projectiles will kill you immediately and with extreme prejudice. Aside from mimics and trip mines, only one other enemy can one-shot you. Of course, it's the severed heads. Those guys are super telegraphed and therefore aren't really a surprise, though I really wish they were. That charge up makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Neon White is packed to the gills with 97 well-built levels. There are all kinds of shortcuts and secrets in each stage, meaning nearly every level has a significant amount of replayability. Some levels are very short, and some are BMV tier time warp long. You will be graded on speed and speed alone. This grade is represented by different tiers of medals, from bronze at the slowest, to silver, to gold, and then to platinum at the fastest. With a little effort, it's not difficult to get all the platinum medals. The medal beyond that will be talked about later. Besides simply clearing as fast as you can, there are also collectibles hidden within nearly every level. These presents can be gifted to their associated characters to unlock lore, challenge levels, and other special interactions. They are very well hidden, and collecting all of them demands that you get the hell out of that box you've become so comfortable in. You're first gonna have to find the things, which can be enough of a challenge as is. Once you find them, you're then gonna have to figure out how to actually reach them. It's a welcome change of pace because you actually have to slow down to explore or think your way to a solution for each one of them. It does a good job at keeping the game fresh and encourages you to search through each stage in and out, meaning you're bound to find other secrets in the process. It really makes you appreciate the effort that went into designing each level. I don't know if any of you are fine art enjoyers, but it's a different kind of fun to simply appreciate someone else's hard work. Once you've blown through each level and finished mission 12, you get to feast your eyes upon the grand conclusion to the story. And it kind of sucks. There are also a lot of loose ends and it leaves many important things unexplained. If that doesn't satisfy and you want to get the true ending, well, you're gonna have to get to work. Only after you've scoured each square inch of every single level and collected all the gifts, give them to their respective characters. Once everyone's relationship levels are maxed out, replay Chapter 12. An option that was previously locked will now be available to select within the cutscene. Was it worth it? Was it fun? Yes. There are quite a few things I like about Neon White. First and foremost, the balance between accessibility and an astronomically high skill ceiling. The levels are simple and straightforward at first glance, but dig a little deeper and you'll hit the cold, dark expanse of speedrunning tech. Despite the potential for ludicrously low times, it's still possible to play and enjoy the game without needing to buckle down and try hard. I also like how each level is built, with each one hiding a variety of shortcuts and passageways which can be used to cut down a lot of time. I had a lot of aha moments on my first playthrough, and those hit you like presents make levels that would otherwise feel empty much more alive and engaging to play and search through. It's akin to Portal 2, which also has a lot of secrets built into its levels that are easily missable, making them rewarding to those who put in the effort to look. Features like this are really good at bringing the world to life, and Neon White's execution is certainly worth praising. On the other side of the coin, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that I could swipe at. Lab-grade cringe, crutching on anime tropes, Young Purple's entire character, as well as many more less offensive violations to my long-term memory. The global leaderboards are actually built into the game, which is cool, but they're not moderated at all. I sincerely appreciate the effort, but leaderboards are often handled much better when they're handed over to the community and volunteers. It would probably be much better if something like speedrun.com was integrated into the game, which is much more adept at authenticating and moderating leaderboards. I don't know about the logistics of that though, so take it with a grain of salt. It's not that big of a deal, but if you're not going to maintain a leaderboard or assume that people aren't going to cheat to get on it, just don't put it in the game and let third parties handle it. Speaking of not putting things in the game, heavenly tickets feel like a system that they were supposed to leave on the cutting room floor. After clearing each set of levels, you receive a heavenly ticket, which can be redeemed for a few unvoiced cutscenes where you go on a short date with another Neon. They serve as in-universe fanfiction and I believe were meant to flesh the characters out a bit, but ended up distracting me from the main story more than anything else. It wasn't offensively bad or anything, but I struggle to see the point to their existence since they don't advance the story being told or give the player anything of meaning. If the cutscenes were instead a reward for finishing some side content, I'd probably feel different, but as it stands, it feels like unnecessary bloat that once had an ambitious future but fell to the wayside during development, and that just hits a little too close to home. As with most of the games I play, there's more to do after you've completed the main story quest. Many different challenges will be unlocked as you complete your relationships with the other characters through gift giving. These can range from to, oh god, why'd I do this to myself? There are gauntlets for each character's side missions in order, as well as gauntlets that include the entire game, both normally and with the weapon cards being replaced with books of life. All of these also have hell variations where you are limited to 1 life. The White and Mikey Hell Gauntlets are like a theme park for masochists. One wrong move and you're starting over from scratch. Please be sure to consult your doctor before attempting. If you're more adverse to challenging yourself in ways beyond getting out of your chair, you'd be glad to know that they're entirely optional, meaning you don't gotta if you don't wanna. On the other side of the dramatically long dinner table, if you desire a true challenge and those scrubby gauntlets aren't enough to whet your bloodlust, then I humbly request that you genuflect in the presence of the Ruby Medal. Ruby medals signify that you've beaten the developer's best time, a feat requiring a significant degree of both mechanical skill and knowledge of the game's inner workings, along with a healthy heaping serving of trial and error. This challenge surpasses a simple collectathon and has no reward beyond the satisfaction of a job well done and thoroughly earned bragging rights. Each and every one of them demands lethal efficiency and near perfection from start to finish. Or some cheese that the developer didn't know about, but those don't count. Only true completionists and autistic savants should even consider attempting to get them all. If a challenge is what you seek, then seek no further. Neon White has me split on how I feel about it. It's a gaming experience quite unlike anything I've ever played before, with well-crafted levels full of secrets, simple to understand mechanics fed to you at a steady pace, and a beautifully unique art style, which is really what drew me to the game in the first place. On the flip side, all of those good qualities can be entirely masked by the obnoxious writing, awkward voice acting, and unnecessary features. That, along with a bit of an aggressive learning curve, could end up driving a majority of the more casual audience away before they're able to get the full experience. All of this is to say that you should play Neon White. On sale. I also recommend that you play it on mouse and keyboard due to the precise nature of the game. I had more than enough fun to warrant the admission fee of $20, but I'm also a seasoned first-person shooter player with a tolerance for the intolerable. So try it for yourself. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. The only way to find out is to take her for a spin. More reviews on the way very soon, once someone lets me out of the storm drain. If you're curious about video progress during the financial quarter between my uploads, I post occasional status updates on Twitter, which is linked below. A very special thanks to you for watching all the way to the end, and I hope you continue to be well. Have a wonderful day.